welcome back to my little challenge I made for myself. Is I'm trying to complete reading the rest of my physical TBR books on my shelves in 15 weeks. So at the end of the year is what I'm hoping to get done with this. That means I need to read 40 books in 15 weeks, about 3 books per week. And this is the 4th week, and I have to say, first 3 weeks came out pretty well. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. But we are on our 10th book. Technically, I read 7 out of the 9, 2 I DNF'd, which I think that is totally okay, because if you don't want to read a book, you shouldn't have to force yourself to read it. Reading's supposed to be fun, so I think it's definitely okay. So that being said, I'm on my 10th book. I pulled this book out of the TBR jar right after I finished The Raven Boys. So I got The Book of Night by Holly Black. This has been on my TBR for a while, and this has been on my shelf for quite a bit too. I love Holly Black. I haven't read Cruel Prince, which is crazy because I loved Holly Black when I was a kid. Spiderwick Chronicles, I think it was called The Curse something, that other series she did. Love those books. So I don't know why as an adult I just have not picked up any Holly Black stuff, because I know I'm probably going to enjoy it. This is a dark urban fantasy, kind of gives dark academia vibes. I think it follows, just like in her other series, like a con artist woman, and there's some magic and things start kind of going awry in this book. So I'm really excited to pick this up. Hopefully I can get this done and start moving on to things. I've been trying to read some of my spooky books because it's currently October, but at the same time, sometimes you need a break from the spooky. And I'm also running out of spooky books. Spooky like October books, because I'm starting to read all of them. So I did last week, I completed my whole like little shelf right there of all my like horror books. Now I'm just, I don't know, there's probably a better way to go about doing this, but this is our book for right now, and let's start week 4, and let's hope that we can get at least 3 books underneath our belts. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning, and I have made little to no progress in this book. I think I'm only on chapter 3. I tried listening to the audiobook yesterday while I was doing things, and I started to get distracted, so I quickly turned it off because I was like, I'm not paying attention to what's going on. But it is my fiance's birthday, and I'm gonna make him a cake and like wrap his presents today. So maybe I'll put the audiobook on and start listening to that while I'm doing all that, because this book's not gonna read itself. I don't know if I'm just not in the mood for this or like what's going on, because I don't know. I'm reading another book and I'm having fun just reading in general, but I don't want to DNF this because I know I'm gonna like this book. Maybe it's just not the right time. So I'm gonna keep trying to do the audiobook today. And if I'm just not getting into it. This will just go back on my shelf. This is not gonna get donated. I'm just gonna have to pick something up and pick it up later because I know I would like this book. I don't know. Hello, it is Thursday morning and we have finished the Book of Night. I was so busy doing things yesterday that I listened to almost the whole entire book on audiobook yesterday. That being said, I was a little distracted while reading some parts of this, so some parts of the magic system I need to like go back and like reread or like refigure out how some things work because didn't catch some things. But I will say, pretty good book, I must say. Not one of my favorite, like I think this is technically classified as somewhat of a dark academia, like fantasy, dark fantasy kind of book. Not one of my favorites, but it was good. I love Holly Black. The way she writes her characters, the like love interest romance in this, ate that up. Usually when it comes to like forms and like shifting kind of stuff, not for me. But I enjoyed this. And I know that the second book like just came out, so maybe I'll add that to my next TBR. It was okay. It ended where I'm like, okay, I'm interested to see how this is gonna go. But I'm not like, I need to read this now kind of thing. I gave this like 3.5 stars. Not bad. I will say when I was reading through some reviews after I finished this, so many people were rating this badly because they're like, it's just not the Cruel Prince. Well, yeah, this is an adult book and the Cruel Prince is a YA series. It's a different world, different characters, so like you can't compare. That's like me saying this isn't Spiderwick Chronicles. Ew. No, like it's something totally different. So I don't know. This book basically is about a girl who's like a con artist, and in this world there's like shadows and people have their own shadows and they can manipulate them, and there's blights. And she has been doing all of these like con jobs since she was young because we find out like her childhood and getting involved in some cons and like an accident happens. And so she is now trying to take a break from that. And her boyfriend might somehow be involved in all of this, but we don't find that until later. She gets attacked and her like by a shadow blight kind of person, and her boyfriend ends up like coming to her rescue, and she's kind of like and suddenly we're trying to find out boyfriend is not who he says he is, and she's somehow getting drawn back into this world. She's having tasks to find the Book of Night for this rich guy who possibly could have done something with the accident when she was younger. So just a good, interesting read. The world building, the like arcane magic system, really well thought out. So probably will read the second book, just probably not right now. But good. That being said, it is time to pull another book. And you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for like a whodunit, like a mystery. I have some like YA books that could probably fit this, so that's what I'm looking for. We'll see if the jar wants that to happen or not. I got a lot of blues, so I guess I'll pick some blues. Oh, I have 2. Let's see what this one is. Can't open this one. One for my enemy. Okay, so this isn't a whodunit, but it is a witch book, so I'll take it. I have grabbed One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. I have read the first book of the Atlas. I have read the first book of the Atlas. Why can't I see Atlas? I have read the first book of the Atlas 6, and it was okay. The characters didn't really connect with them. The world building, the explanation of the magic system, did not understand. And then I also read Masters of Death. I think that's what it's called. That one, a whirlwind. She has a very unique writing, and that's why a lot of people don't like reading her stuff, is because sometimes it can be a little hard to read, and I understand. One thing that really upsets me, I know she used to be a fanfic writer, and when people, instead of doing dialogue, don't put the like quotation marks, they just like have it being just out and about. Oh, my brain doesn't like that. But I mean, this is cute. It's cute. We got some cute, like, you know, some nice little, some art. We got some art in here. Oh, the women are overtaking. So I'm looking forward to this. I know this is like a witchy kind of book, kind of like mobs, but like witch families and their rival like families. I think this is kind of like a Romeo and Juliet kind of retelling kind of thing. So we'll see. I will say though, if I am not into this book, let's see, we'll give it like 150 pages. And if I'm just not into this book, the characters are not doing it for me, the writing style's drawing me out of the book, this will be a DNF. So I don't have big high hopes for her, but maybe she could be something. We don't know. I don't know yet. We'll see. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning. Yeah, big time jump. We're thinking we're gonna have some big book news. Absolutely not. I think I got maybe a chapter into this book. It's bad. There's a few reasons. Just couldn't get into this book currently. Just not what I wanted. Two, and this is on me, I found a game and I've been like obsessed playing it. So the reading slump has entered the chat. So that being said, I'm going to DNF this book so I can move on to something else. So hopefully I can start picking up some speed, because I only read one book last week. Oh, it's not good. Technically I did read two, but only one physical book. Sorry. Anyway, I was thinking about just pooling and trying to find like just a small book, but what's the fun in that? So I'm hoping for a YA book that I can just like read pretty fairly quick, or just like a small fiction book. I don't want a huge dark academia book, because let's be honest, probably not gonna read that. So, okay, we got a blue one. Please, please. Curious Tides. It's a big dark academia book. No, I'm sorry. I'm vetoing this. I'm vetoing it. I can't. I just can't right now. Sorry, TBR. We'll give her one last try. One last try. I feel like all my spooky books are greens. Maybe I should go for a green. Okay, here we go. Saturday Night Ghost Club. Let's go. Okay, this is our first book of the week, and definitely will not be our last. I have finished my first book of the week, and I think my first book in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna make sure of that. It's a Saturday Night Ghost Club. Very small little penguin book. It kind of gives like, I've heard this gives Stranger Things vibes. It's set in the 1980s. There's a group of kids that like spend all summer learning about these ghost stories and trying to find all like the myths and everything in this town, and like maybe something actually spooky is going on. We don't know, but I know this is gonna be a great read for my October spookiness. I'm so excited. Hi, hello. It is currently October 20th. A whole week has gone by, and to put it nicely, life has been lifing for me. I just hit a depressive kind of week where I really just wasn't in the mood to read or really do anything. Watched some shows, so I guess I was productive in that. Played some games, but reading was just not it for me. And it really sucks, because October is always the month that I want to like read all of these books, because I'm a big mood reader, and it never happens for me. Every October I plan all this out, and then it all goes down. This is when I usually enter my reading slump, and then after Thanksgiving I'm like boom, 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 boom. Anyway, I will say a good thing that happened last week is Saturday we had this like art crawl at my local like downtown, and I will say we had like a little book sale. I did buy some books. They're currently in the freezer though, because you know, if you're buying secondhand books, it's always good to try to like, you know, actually I should probably go get them because they've been in there for a few days now. So okay, here are my frozen books. They're de-thawing, but yeah, I'm on a book buying ban, but they were like 50 cents. So, and I'm supporting my local library. I was really happy about this. I got Shorter Diary of Virginia Woolf, which I love some of Virginia Woolf's writing, so I'm looking forward to this is not a book that you sit down and read all in one sitting. This is a very like, you know, read a few things, move on, pick it up another time kind of thing. So, and then I got 50 Days of Solitude. It's about meditation and being alone and about life and writing, and I don't know, just I needed some inspiration last week because I was really down in the dumps and this spoke to me. So that means that also support your local artists and everything like that, because look how cute this is. Ah, it's a little thing, and this pops out so you can water this. She is so cute. I need to name her. I just don't know what to name her yet, but love her. Very cute. And while we were in town, my fiance wanted to get his library card, so of course we went to the library, and of course he convinced me to pick up some books, where I'm like, girl, I don't need any more books to read. But I did pick up Catabasis by R.F. Kuang because I did read Babel, and this was intriguing to me. I wasn't a big Babel fan. Babel took me like 5 months to read. I'm not even joking. I wasn't a reading slump, but Babel, I was stuck in that book for 5 months. And that's probably a me thing. That's not a her thing, that's a me thing. So we're gonna try. I'm not having high hopes, but we're gonna try. And then also The Late Night Witches, which was on my October kind of like recommendations, that I was like, this was really cute. I wanna pick this up and try to read it. And getting to the progress that we have actually made. Our washer was broken, so I went to the laundromat yesterday, and while our clothes were washing, I did read a smidge bit of this. It was very distracting and a little overstimulating in there that I wasn't quite fixed on this, and I was gonna come home and read this, but we ended up watching Stranger Things instead. So instead of reading about the Stranger Things stuff, I ended up watching it instead. I want to finish this book this week. I really do. I want to start reading my other books. I want to start reading these books. I'm ready to get out of that slump. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to read some spooky books. I'm ready to have a good time, because reading is supposed to be fun, and I just haven't been having fun, but that's okay. Also, after we went to the little art book sale, there was a fall festival in town, which this is kind of more of a fall vlog than it is a reading thing, since I haven't really been reading. But I did record there, and I'll include some clips of how it was just very cute. Let me tell you, it's Texas though. So it was hot, very, very hot. It should not be this hot this late in October. I know we don't get cold, which is fine, but it should not be like 90 something degrees. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, and I have finished my first book of the week, and I think my first book in 2 weeks, so let's talk about it. This book, I felt like this book gaslit me. So 2 stars. Okay. Here's the thing. This book was compared to Stranger Things and Stand By Me. So, 80s classic kind of Stephen King vibes of kids going around in the summer in Niagara Falls, hearing the main character's uncle tell them ghost stories, and them investigating. It's a coming of age story, okay? Was it? Kind of. Listen, this was contemporary fiction. No horror, some mystery. It's not giving what I thought it was gonna give. It says it's supposed, hold on. Let me bring up the Goodreads thing real quick, because the way that this is advertised, I'm I don't understand. It says a group of misfit kids who spend an unforgettable summer investigating local ghost stories and urban legends. I think they investigated 3 places. And I think every single time they got to these places, the uncle kind of gave them the gist of what the ghost story or legend was. And then they dipped. Then they left. So the plot twist in this, guess that, like halfway in, not gonna lie. If this is supposed to be horror, it's not at all. I'm sorry. Even this like cover is like this, I'm thinking there's supposed to be like a ghost girl. No, absolutely not. Nothing gets touched on. The like characters, I feel like don't get like developed. There's no character development. There's no really like just getting into deep things.
What about the heel leads happening out there? What about the heel leads, the feet coming off the floor, the horrific demented lines people are making out there?
This book is all over the place too, because it goes from like past, future, present, all over. It wasn't bad, but I was like, don't understand how this book got advertised, and yet it's not quote unquote really what it says it is. I went in thinking like, I'm gonna get a little spooky read. I'm gonna follow these kids, Stranger Things-esque, of them going around the summer and finding spooky things, and maybe like spooky stuff is actually happening here. Stranger Things, they ride bikes and it's set in the 80s. And that's about as Stranger Things-esque I would say it is. So this book is like upsetting, and I hate that. I don't want to talk bad about like this book, but like, I don't know why I was expecting more. I was just expecting so much more. And like the writing is fine. I don't have no problem with the writing. This author is a really nice writer. Just the plot and like point of this book, I just feel like we're not what it said it was supposed to be. And so that's where I'm a little confuzzled. That being said, we did finish a TBR book. And this is gonna go into my donate pile because I don't see myself wanting to read this again or giving it to someone. So this will go to my donate pile. We are going to draw from the jar. We haven't done this in a while, have we? No. And honestly, I don't care which one it is. I'm probably going to read my 2 library books first before I read this one. But because we finished one, we will draw from the jar. A pink one. Oh no. This is our probably gonna DNF books. The Wild Hunt. Okay, this is what we picked, The Wild Hunt. I picked this book up beginning of this year at a like book sale at my local like library kind of thing. And it intrigued me. This is honestly a probably good book to read during October, even though I only have like a week left. But because it's set in October, don't we just love that? But it basically follows this girl. There's an island. I'm pretty sure it's the Scottish mainland is where this takes place. So we got across the pond. Hated that. Don't ever do that again. She's there because her father died unexpectedly, and this is like right after World War II. There are these things called slaw. Hopefully, I don't think I'm saying that right, but they're Celtic legends, okay? And they basically are said to carry the souls of the dead. And they kind of haunt this island that they're on. Man disappears. Our main character, and I'm assuming a love interest, start investigating the island's secrets and what be happening on this island with these bird-like Celtic legend creatures. So, honestly, kind of interesting. Might not be any DNF. I don't know. But again, I'm going to try to read my library books before I read this one. So, probably not going to read this one until November, even though it's set in October. So that's on me. Miscalculated on that one. Should have been reading last week. It is Friday, October 24th, and we have finished a book. Woo! 2 books in a week after coming off with 0. Yes, let's go. Honestly, I enjoyed this. It was a really good audiobook. The woman who was voicing it did such good voices, and I really enjoyed it. I loved it. For an audiobook, is it one of my favorites? No, I give this like 3.5 stars. It was intriguing. I liked the Celtic kind of traditions and urban legends, and I liked how it was crows that were kind of it. You know, this reminded me a lot of The Birds, if you ever seen The Birds, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, and I think there's a book to that too. Would I read it again? Probably not, but I would recommend this book to people if you want like a historical fantasy. It deals a lot just not about like the fantasy aspect of the horrors of this legend, but it talks a lot about the war and having PTSD and dealing with the war and helping out with World War II and things like that. So if you're not really here for like a war book, then this probably isn't for you. But I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. And another TBR book checked off the list. It is time to draw from our TBR jargon. We have a lot of blues, so I'm feeling we're gonna get some blues. Alrighty. Normal People, okay, by Sally Rooney. I've been meaning to watch this show too, so maybe I'll read the book, start the show. I don't know. I feel like most people have read this book or they've watched the show and they're all up in Daisy Edgar and Paul Mescal's life because of this show. If you don't know what this book is about, I'm pretty sure it's about these two people. It kind of follows their life, their relationship, their friendship, their not friendship, their separation, them leading it back to each other, their romantic relationship. So I know it's a like literary fiction kind of book. So, but a good break from what we've been reading, a lot of fantasy, a lot of just crazy stuff. So a nice, just normal slice of life kind of read. Okay, we have an update. I went and visited back home this weekend, so I had about a 6-hour drive to and from, and I listened to Normal People, the audiobook, while I was driving, and I did finish the book on Sunday. So I'm counting that as a book finishing in these 3 weeks. So my thoughts on this. It was fine. I went into this because I've heard a lot of good things about Sally Rooney's writing, and I love a good literary fiction kind of slice of life relationship kind of books. And I've heard lots of things about the show. And so I will say, I am going to watch the show because I am intrigued on how they formatted this book into like a 10 or 12 episode show. Because it's a small, it takes over a lot of time, but I'm just curious like what they added, what they took out, you know. That's just me when I see book adaptations. I always just want to know like, ooh, what did they decide to like leave and take out? But the book itself, I personally am not a person that loves the relationships of like, they're together, but they're not, but they're together, but you know they're gonna get back together kind of thing. So was this my favorite relationship? No. Was there flawed characters? Yes, and I love a good flawed character, and I love having the characters struggle and go through things, because if your character has no struggles and they're not like dealing with things, then it's not well written character. And these characters, you know, they go through stuff. By the way, if you haven't read this book, which if you haven't, you haven't, but there are trigger warnings to this, so just be aware. The writing was fine. I mean, I listened to the audiobook. I will say one thing that kind of irks me about some books, like it's a stylistic choice, is to not have quotation marks around dialogue, which when I'm reading can confuse me and irritate me a little bit. But I didn't read, I just listened to the audiobook. So if that's something that upsets you, maybe this isn't the book for you. Other than that, it was a good book. I gave it 3.5 stars. I enjoyed listening to it. I will say I plugged this thing in, my fiance was in the passenger seat, and the second or third chapter, it gets a little explicit, and I'm in the car driving, and he's like, what are we listening to? So I was like, hey, sorry, I didn't write the book. Anyway, not a bad book. I think if I could, I would go back and maybe annotate this, and like, it's a good book to analyze, I would say. Relationships and like how the mind works and stuff like that. The ending was fine. obviously you want happy endings for your characters, but if there's not a happy ending, like, that's okay. The ending was okay. You know, I could kind of see it coming. I wasn't expecting a happy ending with this couple, but you never know. You never know what's in these kind of books. So that being said, I enjoyed it. It was a good book. I'm excited to watch the show. Since I finished Normal People, it is now time to pull from the jar again. And I don't know, we still have a lot of blues, so maybe we'll get a blue or not. I'm not sure. Let's see. We have a blue. Okay. Give me something good. I'm like, I don't know what I want. I'm not sure what I want. Yellow face. Okay. I'm gonna be reading 2 R.F. Kuang books because I currently have Catabasis from my library that I checked out. So 2 different styles of R.F. Kuang writing, so that'll be fun. We have completed 6 out of 15 weeks in our 40 books in 15 weeks challenge. I read five books these 3 weeks. Technically, I only read 4 and I DNF'd this one, but I'm counting my DNFs as books getting taken off my TBR, so technically that was 5. I had a bit of a slump last week, and that's okay. I'm surprised I even read 4 after coming out of that, so honestly, a feat for me. I'm excited. We are almost halfway through this challenge, and I've been getting rid of and reading so much books, so I'm really proud of myself. Adding these books and the last 3 weeks' books, we are now up to 14 out of 40 books out of our physical TBR that we have read or DNF'd and gotten to make room. I will say, if you can see, my shelves are starting to look a little bare. So I'm kind of getting a little sad. I'm glad that I'm reading through it, but I'm like, it's feeling the urge of me wanting to go out and buy more books, which I can't. I'm putting a limit. There's only certain books that I'm allowing myself to buy. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this chaotic reading vlog. I know there wasn't a lot of reading, not a lot of books in this one, but hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll have some more books that we have gotten done. We're getting close to the holiday season, and I will be traveling a bit during holiday season. So we'll see if this plateaus or not, but I'm really hoping that I can get to the 40 books.